So today is going to be super fun, and it starts with a story. In December, right before Christmas, I was at an event at the 92nd Street Y on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And there was a guy on stage who's super smart, really inspired me. His name was Adam Robinson. And I tapped my friend on the knee and I said, I'm going to get that guy on the vlog so that he can come spend time with us. And today, we get to go meet him together. The interview is already live on iTunes, but before you listen to the whole thing, I just wanted to share my favorite little nuggets with you. So early on, we talked about changing the world, and how in order to do so, in order to take on this magnificent task, we have to change our thinking. So how do we change our thinking?
Albert Einstein said the world we have is the product of our thinking. And if we want to change the world, we have to change our thinking. And in fact, thanks Albert for that piece of advice.
You nailed it.
But he actually didn't then show how to change thinking. If you want to change a person's thinking, you have two levers. One is by changing the questions they ask. The other is giving them more inspired answers. Your world is the product of your thinking. And if you want to change that world, you just change the thinking.
Throughout our lives, there's a lot of talk about what do you want to do? You know, that ever-present question of what do you want to be when you grow up? But Adam invites us to consider a deeper question. Who do you want to be?
The questions you ask direct your attention. So for example, a question I'm sure your community members, I like to think of them as your community members, ask themselves is, who do you want to be in the world? And there's a wonderful movie, Jerry Maguire. And Jerry Maguire was a movie that Tom Cruise did with Renee Zellweger. And at the time, she was an unknown actress. This is like, the movie is like 20 years old. And so he plays, at the beginning of the movie, opens up, he's this hard-charging sports agent. He's just totally out for the money. And he has an epiphany. He has an inspiration, and he one night decides that's not what I want to be. That a real sports agent, like the kind of sports agent I want to be, is going to put his clients' welfare ahead of their money. And so he writes a manifesto, and then unfortunately distributes it. This is all in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Distributes it to the offices of his partners, and they fire him. They go, you're putting money second and a client's welfare first, you're gone. But what was great about that is he made a public declaration about who he was and who he wanted to be in the world. And that's really the question that your community members should be asking themselves. Who do they want to be in this world? That's so important.
Ooh, one more thing. Adam mentions 3 rules of success that he has, which is exactly the kind of thing that I would normally be a little bit skeptical of. But if you listen carefully, they directly contrast what you'd find in any self-help section of a bookstore. Because none of them are about helping oneself. Instead, he invites us to focus on others, to connect.
Truly, if you are passionate about what you do, you will find a way to make money at it. And in the process, you're still going to have a great time because you're going to love what you do. I keep deja vuing on the Tim Ferriss podcast, right, that I did with Tim Ferriss. And I shared in both of the podcasts that I did with Tim what I believe to be the 3 laws of success. And I wish I had known them. I wish I'd known these 5 years ago. I certainly wish I would have known them when I was 16. And when I was 16 and into my 20s and 30s and a little older than that now. Anyway, I thought that success in the world was something I did. That it was my success, and it was purely a result of what I could do in the world. And And that's such a limited way of thinking. Really, what you can accomplish in the world is enrolling other people to do it with you. And the thing is, I love people. And so the 3 rules that I'll share, and this is true across the board, is rule number 1, connect with the other person. When you go for a job interview, your number 1 goal is connect with the other person across the table from you. So when you go in for the job interview, don't think of it as you're going in there looking for a job. Just connect with the person. So how do you connect? You find some overlap between your interests and the other person's. Part of connecting is just acknowledging the other. When I walk into someone's office, I instantly size them up. I see the photographs, I know what their interests are, I know whether they've got kids or not, I see their diploma, I know what the kind of books they read. So I find a way to connect, and I go, oh wow, you're really into sailing. And I got to tell you, I was the world's worst sailor, and that reminds me of the time I capsized a boat in off the coast of Italy, and boom, then you're connecting. It's not a job interview anymore. It's 2 people connecting, and of course you have to have the skills and sometimes the experience that they're looking for. But I'll tell you, if you connect, they will overlook any number of things. Connect first and foremost. Second, create fun and delight for the other person. So rule number 1, connect. 2, create fun and delight for the other person. The 3rd rule of success is to lean in to each moment and each encounter expecting magic or miracles, because you just don't know when it's going to come. And by the way, that creates it. And those 3 rules, I don't care whether you're 16 or 26 or 36 or 46, it doesn't matter. And by the way, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about your personal life or your business life. It's all about connecting with other people. The people that you create fun and delight for and connect with they're going to want to have you around. They're going to want to have you around on their college campus, if you're a high school student applying to college, or they're going to want you in their company. They're just going to want you around. Now, of course, you got to have the skill set. You got to do your homework. But that's really the most important, and I wish I had known that. Connect, fun and delight, and lean in expecting magic, because you just don't know.
And you can find the full interview on iTunes right here on YouTube and on our website at the link below.